As an F-18 pilot, you personally saw one of these. What did it look like? What did it do?
Well, initially, we first saw these on our radar systems. We upgraded to a new radar, and we started noticing many more objects out in our working areas that we weren't expecting. We eventually were able to correlate those on our infrared sensor, our AT FLIR, and eventually we got close enough to these objects to see them with our own eyeballs. And the first time that happened, two aircrew from my squadron, VFA 11, were proceeding out to our working areas. At the very entrance to the area was one of these objects that went right between the two aircraft. The object was described as a dark gray or black cube inside of a clear sphere. And it was estimated to be about 5 to 15 feet in diameter, which is similar to the orbital objects that were described today in the hearing.
You're a trained engineer. You say that the aircraft you've seen did things that are impossible by our current human abilities, that they can fly 13,000 miles per hour, evade radar, fly through air and underwater. They have no wings, no sign of propulsion.
Well, I can't claim seeing all those behaviors myself personally, but those are the behaviors that have been described as we've begun to look at this topic more completely. We'd often see these objects actually being completely stationary, which is less exciting perhaps than 13,000 miles an hour, but for fighter pilots who operate in these areas every day, having something completely stationary in hurricane force winds is very peculiar. And so we'd see a plethora of behaviors that we can't describe. What we need to do is get more data. And as we get more data through Aero and through other organizations, I think we're going to see the range of behaviors exhibited increase.
The recent speculation, just in the last month or so, there was a paper written by someone who was speculating that perhaps these objects, whatever they are, were attracted to Earth's water as a source of fuel, because so many of these sightings appear over the Atlantic or the Pacific Ocean. Do you think there's any validity to that?
It's not really my area of expertise to delve into. As Dr. Kirkpatrick said today, he's engaging academia with some of the more low probability, highly speculative, and yet more technically challenging postulations. What we really need to focus on is ensuring that we can get more data from our frontline operators, such as the pilots, not only in the military, but on the commercial side as well.
Right, because
what was acknowledged today in the hearing.
I just want to, before you move on to that, it has been an incident with a commercial airplane. A commercial flight, a plane flying over West Virginia last May experienced the failure of two major systems on board after it flew underneath one of those mysterious objects, very similar to what you saw.
That's correct. It did have a loss of its autopilot function as well as its detect and warning system for proximity to other aircraft. Mishap with aircraft never happened due to one big issue. It's always a culmination of small issues that gather up. And we mitigate that in our aviation safety framework by mitigating those individual smaller problems so they don't build into a much larger problem. What we've strangely done with this issue is we've said that we're not going to mitigate this safety issue, even though we've had a continuing number of safety hazard reports come in now from our Navy personnel. And I would expect from our other forces as well. However, we just haven't had any reports coming in from the Air Force or Coast Guard or any of the other branches so far as the public is aware.
Well, one big headline from the hearing today is that military pilots are finally being taken seriously. Senator Rubio had also, you've talked about it, several lawmakers have talked about it, about the stigma of the eye rolling and the snickering that come with, hey, I think I just saw something that was a UFO. Do you see this changing? Because I know there was a culture for a long time of these pilots being honestly afraid to say, oh my God, I can't believe what I just saw.
Absolutely. And I see that change occurring, and it's certainly not occurring evenly. It's occurring about a wave. And some people are on one side of the wave and they're fully into it and they're engaged and they're reporting it and they want to learn more. And I think some people are on the other side of that wave as well, where they're still not really accepting that this problem exists. And I just want to encourage people, this isn't about drawing conclusions about what these objects are, where they're from. There's really no reason to have any disregard for what these are, because we just simply don't know at this point. And in that uncertainty, potentially, is going to be national security problems. And if not, we still need to be scientifically curious about what those could be.
Right.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.